following podcast may contain some adult language. You've been warned.
Those of you who got an invite, welcome to NerdProm.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all nerds! International. With the hyphen.
Welcome to Finding the Narrative, the Genesys RPG Podcast. This is a show dedicated to the Genesys role-playing system created by Fantasy Flight Games, a show in which we, your hosts, discuss all things Genesys from both a player's and a GM's perspective. I am Tony Fanning, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts of extraordinary character, Mr. Chris Holmes and Stefan Dragonspawn. How are we today, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Extraordinary character. I'm liking the stretch you're making there with that.
Well,
I had
you guys bring up the quality of my life with your extraordinary character, the two of you.
I'm jealous. Or not jealous, I'm blushing right now. So I had a virgin experience today, everybody. I smoked a salmon today for the first time, and holy fuck, it turned out good. So there we go. That's like some meat talk there. Speaking of meat talking, Stefan, how you doing?
I need a stiff drink after that. No, I'm doing good. Just very busy at work, but having some fun with you guys on the show. Recording on a Friday instead of Sunday.
Yes, we are.
Okay, because we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm.
And who is that special guest there, Tony?
Well, we have brought on Mr. Guillaume Tardif, and that's as best as I can get on my pronunciation, good sir.
Very good.
Well, first of all, celebrate his birthday yesterday. Congratulations. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you very much.
Turned 21, right?
35, actually.
35. He's a young
Still
pup.
a youngin'.
Definitely.
You're on with some old grognards tonight, young whippersnapper.
I've got your age, but backwards, 53.
Yep. And we've invited Guillaume on to discuss his setting, one of the opening forays into the Foundry, the Inquisition setting.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we jump on over into that?
Very good.
Alright, everybody. Well, welcome to the people of Genesys. I don't really have a sing-songy thing for that, but I am going to introduce Guillaume. Welcome to the show, buddy. Who are you? Give us your elevator pitch. Who are you?
All right. So, I've been playing tabletop RPGs since the last 20 years or so. I've never been into like professional writing, freelancing before Genesys, even though I've been game mastering Dungeons and Dragons for years. Dabble a bit in Vampire the Masquerade as well as Legend of the Five Rings. But Dungeon & Dragon was always my things until Genesys came out, basically.
Cool.
So, and at the core, in my daily life, I'm an IT guy and a father of 2 children and husband to a beautiful wife.
Aw, look at that. Dude, he's young.
He's got it down.
He's got it down. He's got it. He knows. He's got it. Well done, sir. Well done.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. Forget about it. Okay, so what did you cut your teeth on? Your RPG teeth on? What? Probably D&D, I'm guessing. What version?
Yeah, it was basic D&D back in elementary school. Started like in 6th grade.
Nice.
I played that for, I don't know, maybe like a year or two and switched to advanced D&D. Played that until 3.5 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I played that for a while until I got Pathfinder. And so I will always have been within the D20 system. And I only played a vampire game on the side, but nothing much. And then at some point I was getting, because I'm the guy who is stuck with always being the game master.
Of course.
For all these years, I've always been the game master because nobody else seems to want to do it or feel they could do it or whatever. So I've always been that guy. So at some point I got kind of bored of this because we were playing weekly, for, I don't know, 10 years or so. Wow. Multiple campaigns and all that, switch players, but we played a lot. And at some point I just got bored and we started to play board games instead. So got into board games, and at some point we played Imperial Assault from Fantasy Flight Games.
All right.
And one of the player was one of my buddy went I think it will be cool if we were to play a Star Wars role-playing game. And at that time, Age of Empire was out, Age of Rebellion as well, but I think Force of and Destinies wasn't out yet. Okay. So I was okay. Well, why not? We can try. So I bought the Age of the Empire beginner box, played the game, and that was great. I really love the narrative dice system and all that. So we basically just switched to Star Wars.
Cool.
But thing is that I don't know why, but I have some trouble dealing with game mastering a sci-fi space opera game. I'm not sure why exactly. Maybe the world is too big. I'm mostly used to medieval stuff, right? So I don't know. The universe was just too vast for me. So I was like, okay, maybe I can try to make some kind of fantasy adaptation of Star Wars. So I started working on this, and finally, I don't remember what happened, but I just stopped. And after that, there was the announcement of Genesys coming on. So I was like, oh, this is what I need to build my world and play.
Cool.
Yeah. Get it off the shelf, dust it off, and
yeah, basically.
Nice. So I think you might have answered the next question when you started playing. So what's next there, Tony? That's cool.
So who or what inspired you to write this and actually produce it as a product?
Well, at first, because I always been world building. I never really, within all my years of game mastering, I basically made up my own universe and my own campaigns and stuff. Cool. Until at the end, I was kind of lacking inspiration, so I borrowed from the Pathfinder adventure path. Okay. But for the rest, all the games we played, it was my own creation. And so I started working on Inquisition before Foundry was actually a thing. So the earlier version of the product had full of artwork for which I don't own any copyrights, and it was already shared publicly within the Discord server, the Facebook group, and all. And there was not a goal behind I want to sell that stuff, because at that point it was not even something that I could think of. I just wanted to share the stuff I was doing with people because I came up with talents and all stuff like that. Nice. And when the Foundry became a thing, since I wasn't the secret of Foundry before it actually was revealed, because I was a Foundry Day One product, right? So when it was, I think it was Brett that invited me inside the group, and I was like, oh, I could do something with Inquisition, make it a product, make it not an official product, but something you could see in the store of Fantasy Flight Games, right? So I just started to fill the holes in order to make it a complete product, something that someone could purchase and feel like they got the whole thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Good source book.
Cool. Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, what's the next one there, Stefan?
Yeah, the next question that we have is, do you have any advice for anyone, contributors for the Genesys Foundry, whether it's for a new setting, an existing setting, or an adventure for either?
Playtest. Basically, playtest. You want to be sure, because it's easy to come up with a talent or a piece of gear or a new spell or whatever. So, and you're like, oh, that you just look at it and it looks great. So I'm just going to put that in my book. But the way you use it, maybe someone will use it another way or something. And like at some point, if I have that talent or that piece of gear, it's just completely like screw my whole setup or whatever. And actually, I had some kind of situation like this with Inquisition. So yes, so you want to play test and like don't be afraid at first, because to share with people, at least some people, because when you start up with your first product, you're basically a nobody at that point. So it's not like just because you shared like with, I don't know, a dozen people you're used to talk about on the web and all that. It's not like you won't be able to sell any more books after that, right? So you just need these different opinions from different people that have a different vision of what you wrote.
Different point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Different point of view. And then you can come up with a better product. Nice. Because coming up with it, because I basically did Inquisition like on my own. Sure, I got different point of views from friends, but like I'm the sole author of this, and it's something really big to do. Like Fantasy Flight Games had a team for this, like a bunch of freelance writers and all that. So coming up with a setting on your own, and Inquisition, I think it's actually pretty big for a setting.
There's a lot there, for sure.
Yes, so you want to have someone else check your work, because sometimes you think, this is good, and then someone is like, maybe you should not do this. And this is another example of it happens a lot with Inquisition during the process of writing that book.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Good advice. Good advice. So you said you've been world building of your entire gaming career. You said any advice you give somebody if they want to start from world building? Is it starting from the sandbox, small out, big in? What would you like to share?
In my case, I always go with, I need a group of players first, because writing from scratch and you don't know if the stuff you're writing is actually going to interest some people. You might do all this work for nothing, because you don't know if your product is going to sell first, and you don't know will there be people actually interested in playing this. And if it's not the case, the fact that you don't know, you might not have the same motivation as if someone is actually reading. Like, did you like wrote new lines or something? So in my case, because I wanted to create a setting for Genesys, I wanted to play Genesys. So I asked the players I was most likely going to play with, will you be interested in that kind of setting? Like, I was thinking like a low fantasy thing, because I got kind of bored of, but not bored, but exhaust of Pathfinder, which was my previous system. Pathfinder with all the magic items you have, like it's really high fantasy, and I have that player that plays with me a lot, and he's just not into magic at all. Like, he's always like the warrior type or something, because like he doesn't want to learn the spell list of 100 spells and all that. So and I got money, I got to browse a magic item shop and all this, and it's just like there are books and books and books in Pathfinder of magic gear and all. So I was like, okay, will you be interested in something most low fantasy? It's still going to be medieval stuff, but they won't be that 100 playable species, and like it's just going to be low magic and all that. So since I had already a group that was interested in what I wanted to create and my ideas, that gave me motivation to actually write that setting.
And then there'll be play tests and stuff too. Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
And maybe we should introduce your friend to Eric Lamoureux, who also doesn't like magic items.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
You don't like that?
Especially not in Savage World, anyway.
Awesome.
All right. Well, so you said you GM. How often do you get to GM nowadays with the little ones and all the things going on in your life right now? Have you been GMing lately?
Oh, not that much, really. Not in real life. I mean, I play by post games. I'm running two Inquisition games right now on Discord as play by post. But actually playing the game now, like I had my phase of playtesting when I was writing the product. But then, like I have my two kids. My brother, which is one of my players, just had his second son as well, and I have another player which has 3 kids of his own. So yeah, we got busy lives, right? So over the last year, I clearly did not play as much as I would have wanted to. But before that, I've played like every week or every other week. And it's all, and I'm always the game master.
Well, give it 6 or 7 years. You're going to have plenty of little RPGers to pull from to play.
You're
introduce the next generation to role play.
You're creating gamers, so
exactly. I mean, I play
basically.
I play every other Friday night. I play with a 10-year-old and 11-year-old. Two of my buddies' sons. So, introducing them to Dungeons and Dragons and freaking Rust Monster the other night for the first time. You know, I'm like, oh yes, come
classic.
on, destroy his axe, come on, make it go to dust. You know, so it's good stuff. Some classic.
I'm trying to do the same. My 6-year-old daughter, I just made her play the Labyrinth board game. I don't know if you know that game.
Oh, I love it. My daughters love it too. It's great.
Yeah, so it's like her first dungeon, kind of. There's just no fight yet.
There you go.
And I took out my dice bag a few weeks back, and she just loved rolling the dice.
Cool.
So yeah,
if you like that game, the Dark Crystal game is pretty neat too. Made by the same people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check it. I don't know that game. I'm gonna have to check it.
Okay, yeah, based on the movies. Okay.
So this is where we would insert, say, questions from our listeners who did a bang-up job of providing us with absolutely none.
Yeah.
Well done,
way to go,
both of you.
People out there, all tens of you.
Of you.
Yeah,
maybe.
we're back to tens again.
And I did try to reach out and say to people, hey, Guillaume will be on the show next week. Send us your questions if you have any.
So that's an indicator
crickets.
of 2 things. Either 1, we have really lazy fans, or 2, Guillaume, your product is so good they have no questions.
That's right. So
or everyone is just, who's that guy?
There you go.
So let's get into the stuff specific to Inquisition itself.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and I think you answered the first one organically earlier, and that was that how did the concept of it evolve?
You want to go to low fantasy, yeah.
So, Stefan, when you want to read the next one in line there.
Sure. The second question is, how long did you work on this to be ready to share with people? And was there some playtesting involved, which I probably...
I guess
there was.
Better question.
Yes, and I have a little.
Still, how long did it take to get ready?
Sorry about playtesting with this. But
good.
I've been working on Inquisition, I'd say... Well, actually, when Genesys came out, I started working on it from the start. Because I was already used to the narrative dice system, so I did not have to just get used to the system, play a couple of games to understand how the mechanics were going, right? So from the start of Genesys, I started working on that setting. But it was more like just when I have some kind of free time. It was when I didn't have any people to play video games with or whatever, I was still working on that. But when Foundry became a thing, the deadline was about, it was just maybe 3 months away or something when I learned of when I was invited inside the development team for this. So from that point, it was like all my free time was about writing this. The kids went to bed and I got to write stuff. Because it's a large project, and at that point, I wasn't sure I will be ready for the deadline.
Gotcha.
So, but overall, yeah, the project started the 1st of Genesys. So it was 3 years ago or something?
Yeah, I think it was 3 years. So. We're going on a 3rd year.
Yeah, already.
Cool.
And playtesting was, playtesting involved important point. So for any of you doing a setting or some product, some Foundry product, playtest it. And it's even more important for Foundry product because people are actually paying for this. If you're just making up stuff and sharing it for free, if you playtest it, it's even better. But if not, well, it's okay anyway. People just got it for free, right? But if people are paying for that stuff, even if it's just $1 or $2, they expect something that has been tested, right?
True.
And one funny thing about this is the alchemical silver craftsmanship option in the book.
Okay.
The metal you're using to fight monsters, basically. Thing is that over playtesting, the mechanic was different for silver. I was basically using burn at that point for silver, and the idea behind was that monster were only like you could only defeat you have only chance to defeat a monster if you had silver weaponry, because else you're not just gonna pass soak, right? Because all the monsters have high soak values, except for the dam, because they have to be playable as well. But every monsters are tough, right? So there was that quest where the players, well, it's actually the Dying Light adventure module that is actually available on the Foundry as well, so I'm not going to spoil, but at the end they're fighting a supernatural creature, and that fight took forever because they weren't able to actually damage the thing. Like, they just inflicted a single wound or two, like even on a successful roll, right? They just inflicted a damage or two. The burn wasn't doing anything because it wasn't bypassing soak. Because the base damage of the weapon wasn't bypassing soak, so it was just kind of useless. And the creature was not an actually... it was more of a mental, like... because I don't want to spoil anything, but it was not a fighter-type creature.
Yeah.
So, and the tank of the team was just so good at parrying that he basically soaked the whole thing, or deflected, like... So... It was just a fight between like that creature and the
Right.
Did he make? I think it was not even a monster hunter.
Right.
Anyway, they just fought forever, like dealing 1 damage each time, and like it took forever.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminds me of, I just watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and that right there reminds me of the fight between what's her name, the vampire woman, Mina Harker, and Dorian Gray. That fight that they had, they just. Well, come on, let's just keep fighting.
Well, that's it. Each one is pretty much immortal, then you can't be defeated unless special conditions. So
there you go, Jamie. There's your hit point. Your hit point bashing each other. So I'll take the next one there, Tony.
Okay, go ahead.
So you did share this You did share this product as a free product with the community beforehand. That's where I first saw it. What point did you say, "Hey, I'm ready to share it with the community"? What point was that for you? What was that completion point?
Back when it was a free product, like before Foundry, right?
Right, and then if you want, what was the completion point? What goals did you set for yourself to put it on the Foundry as well? So,
well, in order to have the setting actually playable and feel kind of complete, I needed at least I needed archetypes, because since there was no other playable species than humans, so I needed the archetypes, because I will not go with just like the average human, intellectual, aristocrat, and laborer from the core book. So I needed more stuff, right? So I made a few new archetypes. I needed carriers, a bunch of team talents. In that case, I borrowed a lot from the realms of Terranath, because it's fantasy stuff, right? Yeah. So I just had a couple talents, new archetypes, and the most unique rule set of Inquisition is witchcraft. So I worked on witchcraft, and at first I think that's basically what I had. Like, I did not have much adversaries. I think I had like the Templar and the Pope, and that's about it. The gear was just like, oh, just use whatever is from Realm of Terranath. So it was just like playable, but there was a lot of stuff lacking. And when the Foundry, like, okay, you'll be able to share, to sell that product, I wanted a quality product. So I had to rework some stuff because I was borrowing too much stuff from the other books. And I also wanted as well to have more lore, on like more meat on the bone, because rules is a thing, but when you're doing a setting, you want something like, you want a universe with lore, actual places, cities, kingdoms, and all that. A while back, before Foundry, it was kind of a generic low fantasy thing. Like, there wasn't even a world map yet, no kingdoms. It was just like the basic idea. Prophet's Landing was mentioned, but that's pretty much it. And I even had that person from Discord, I think, or maybe it was Facebook, that gave the review of my free product, saying that you basically did a generic setting of a generic game.
But basically, that's one thing you gotta. Yeah, if you're gonna put it out on the internet, I'm sure you've got to deal with the negative criticism now and again.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're doing a product and to put it on the web, you have to be ready for this. Like, if you cannot stand negative criticism, just don't share stuff.
But that was
good advice. That's good advice.
Yeah, but that was the free version, so you get what you pay for.
Exactly. So from that point, well, at least when Foundry was presented to us, I was like, okay, I need some lore on this. Like, the mechanics was doing great. I just added some few talents here and there and adversaries, but yeah, I needed more stuff. And also, I wanted to have more, because the product back then was just like the rules, like a reference for like, oh, what is that talent doing, and you just look at it. But what I needed is kind of a game mastering part, because since I was the sole game master of that setting at that point, I already knew like what's going to be the dynamic between the church and the witches and all that. But if I was to sell that book, I need to put words on this. So for the person that will buy it, they're gonna read that part and, oh, this is how the universe works. It's more than just witchcraft spells and new talents. There's something about how the kingdoms interact with each other, and they're gonna be able to run the game not the right way, but like kind of closer to what I was thinking before releasing the product.
Gotcha.
Get it from your head to paper, or in this case, a computer. So put all those ideas down so that people can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
When I read through the book, I could see inspiration maybe from stuff like The Witcher or a darker version of a Pendragon setting, darker Europe. No magic. Or very, very, very little magic, and it's only the bad guys that have access to it.
Yeah, I never played Pendragon, but my main inspiration were coming from The Witcher was one for the Monster Hunter part, because Monster Hunter is basically a Witcher, right?
Yeah.
The thing about Templars and witches was inspired by the Dragon Age series.
Okay.
And the Inquisition in the background was a background thing for a game I was playing at that point, which is Graveyard Keeper. It's just like a sim game, but you're basically running a graveyard and whatever. But in the background, you have an Inquisition going on, and the game is just hilarious because it's not a serious game. And and there is that Inquisitor that is basically trying to make a show of witch burnings. So like at some point they are asking you to build a kiosk and sell burgers and beer during the burning, and it's absurd. But I was playing that game at that point, and I was like, that's a fun idea to have like the church actually messing up people and their life and all that, and just burning innocents and whatever. So these are my main inspirations. So Graveyard Keeper, Witcher, Dragon Age, and a bit as well of Darkest Dungeon for the grim part of it.
Right.
Probably even a bit of Barovia from running D&D for all those years.
Yes,
the various iterations of Curse of Strahd.
Yeah. Which, by the way, their 5th edition take on it was great. The way they expanded it, that's really well done. Nice. All right, what do we got next here, Tony?
The next question was actually mine, but I have a preface for this. Now, when we interviewed Scott Zumwalt on our last show, he mentioned to us that he actually gave you permission to use his talents of the werewolf and vampire. Now, are all those his, or did you expand upon those?
Yeah. Well, we basically, because that's part of the playtesting, right? So I wanted to do werewolves and vampires. Back then, Gravewalker wasn't a thing, so I wanted to do vampires and werewolves. And Scott and I already had that friendship, so when I asked him a question, I was thinking doing this and that, and he was just like, well, I'm actually working on something similar as well, so we could like work together on this. So he basically had all the work done already. Like he already had these talents, but he showed them to me, and I was like, oh, these are super great, but maybe that talent should be adjusted like here and there. So I basically just gave my opinion of the talents, and he had just adjusted some stuff. We worked some talents, but like the main idea, like when you're looking at talent, like the title of a talent and what's the purpose, it's his idea.
Oh, excellent.
So he's the mastermind behind it. I just like contributed a bit to make them more great. And after that, I just wanted to go with the Gravewalker, so I borrowed from that talent's base variation kind of character,
so to speak.
Yeah, the template. So yeah, I just work with that, and I wanted, because if you're looking at the talents, you see there's a recurring theme. Like for example, Vampire is all about the strain economy. Like pretty much every talent is going to cost you strain to use, and they have to drink blood to recover their strain. So and the werewolf has its own thing as well. So for the Gravewalker, I wanted to have something similar. So I got it. I think I got not all talents, but a fair portion of the talents for the Gravewalker using the story points. There's that talent that basically it's penalizing the game master if they're pulling up on story points. Like if the game master has more story points than the players, I think it's an advantage on all checks you do or something like this. So like,
oh, that's interesting. That's
cool. So basically, the game master has to spend story points, and as the Gravewalker, you want to have that bonus, so you're trying to give back story points to the game master, right?
Oh, it's kind of a game.
It's really a cool thing.
That's cool.
And I don't know if you looked at how you become a Gravewalker. It's actually pretty funny, because you have to die in order to become a Gravewalker. So you have a talent that makes you more vulnerable to death, more powerful at the same time. So you're taking that talent knowing you're gonna die, because from that point you cannot heal critical injuries, but you're stronger, so you just like fight like hell until you fall, and from that point you become
maybe I should have given Big Amos that talent, but anyhow.
There's still time, Tony. We will be pausing before Advantageous Threats if you want to.
Yeah. So the follow-up to all that then was the question that's in the show notes here, and that is, your setting offers a lot of monstrous character options. That's with the werewolf, the vampire, the Gravewalker, and the Witchborn. And but your overall setting theme says those are the bad guys. Majority of your character options, so to speak, are not usable for that type of play if you choose. So I'm just curious as to the design choice. Was that kind of that all that stuff was added after the fact?
No, actually not. Thing is that, well, there's one section of the book I remember talking about, like, not having damned or witchborn players in the group, which is at the end. There's in the game mastering section. In the game mastering section, the chapter 4, there is a section called a damned party, and I recommend. Well, I'm not recommending to not having such character, but I'm recommending to not have a party of such characters, because thing with Inquisition is, like, at first glance, the church may be the good guys, and the damned and the witchborns are the bad guys. But it's not actually that easy. The church is not the good guys, and they're not the bad guys as either. They're basically just an organization that has their own set of values and all, and they're just trying to make what they feel is right. So they're trying to help the people, like they're protecting the people, right? So they run like the orphanage and taking care of the sick and all that. But at the same time, from their perspective, witches are evil. So in order to defend the people, they have to hunt witches. And the thing is that it's not like they have modern methods of proving someone is actually a witch. So it happens that people are mistaken.
No DNA testing?
Yeah.
Nope. If she weighs the same as a duck, she's got to go.
That's right. Or if she floats. Right?
She thinks she wasn't a witch. That's it.
Yeah.
She
So basically, you have people getting branded as a witch, and they're burned down, and since it runs in the blood, so their family is going to be killed as well. And the thing is that it's not like if we're looking at a classical fantasy setting, so let's say Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or whatever. The nobles, the people ruling, the ruling class, they're good people in these setups. Like, they are exception, of course, but overall, they're just like presented as mostly noble people trying to help their folk and be prosperous and all that. But in Inquisition, the rulers are power angry. They don't really care for their people. All they want is the money and the power and all that. And it's the same for the church. Because when you're a priest in a little town far away from Prophet's Kingdom, so you don't have like all your superiors looking at you directly, you do basically what you want. So if telling that this random dude is a witch or warlock because it goes against your master plan to become a better priest or something like this, you can just like, oh, this guy is a witch, burn them. And
that's awesome.
Great way to get rid of rivals. Yeah,
that's right.
So, yeah, exactly. And for the organization, if you're like an effective priest, like you're good at rooting out witches and all that, you can be promoted to an inquisitor. And with Inquisitor, you get to travel the world hunting for witches, and you get prestige and all that. So it's not... Inquisition is really a morally gray setting. Because the church is not actually good, they're not actually evil, each individual is not the same, it's not because you're a priest that you're doing everything the church says, and it's the same thing for monsters. If you're a vampire, you don't have to be a bad guy, you don't have to go on a slaughter and killing all innocents and all that. You can just be a good vampire. Thing is that, what I like about that setting is that morally gray moral, and if you're playing a complete party of witchborns and damns, you're going to be branded as evil by everyone else. So you're less likely, or at least the game master is less likely to put you in a situation where you have you have to make a choice. Yeah, harder choice. So you have to make a choice, and like, do we like save the innocents because, like, I don't know, the town is burning or whatever, or we just gonna like, I don't know,
let them burn because they'll burn.
Yeah, let them burn. But
have a barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're a party of monsters, well, you're just gonna let them burn because everyone in that town wants you dead anyway, right? But if like you're playing a Templar, and you have to, it's an example I wrote in the book actually. So you're a Templar on a witch hunt. You go into the swamps or whatever, find the witch hut or the witch cave or whatever. So you hunt down the witch, you murder her because you could not afford to bind her and bring her back in town to burn her, and like you're looting the cave and all that, and oh, there's a baby in there. So it was probably the witch baby or whatever. What do we do with a baby? It's a newborn. It's a witchborn? Probably, because you don't actually know that. You're just supposing it's a witchborn. So by the church, you're supposed to kill that baby because it's a witchborn, right? But like, as a human person, do you want to murder a baby? Like that's the kind of choice you're more likely to have if your party is not exclusively monsters and witches.
Gotcha.
But you could do it as anyway. But I'm just like, if you want to get the best of the setting, probably you're better off with maybe either no one from that faction or like just a single one. Okay. And what you could have, which will be actually pretty great, like let's say in the same party you have a witch or maybe a witchborn. They aren't aware they are a witch yet. Of course, the player knows, right? But the character is not aware of their witchborn status, and they're teaming up with a Templar. Because like they're religious people, Templars are good people and all that. And at some point they witness some kind of horrific event, because that's one of the trigger you can have to become aware of your witch blood. So I don't know, like your hometown is burning and whatever. So and you're seeing this and you're confronted to, oh, I'm a witchborn. I can do magic now. Thing is that if I look to my left, my best buddy here is a Templar. What's gonna happen between those two?
Heresy.
Right?
That's some heavy content there. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the answer. That was, to me, it seemed like an interesting, if not weird, design choice. But now that I get it, I get it.
Yeah, and I got that theme. I got that theme as with the church, and when I wrote the scenario for these guys for the actual play, having one of them be a witch-born Templar.
Yeah.
Deal with that, fucker.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, your sister just had a baby. And the Templars and the Inquisitor are coming to, quote-unquote, investigate it. Go. What are you going to do, right? I mean, so,
and it's a great setup. And actually, in one of my Blade by Post game, one of the character is actually a Templar, and they have been tasked to, like, basically protect a Witchborn, because, like, it's a friend of the family and all that. And the person just, like, he has to leave it. He's my son, and, like, protect them, right? So, and the Templar is just like, okay, well, I do owe you one, but, like, do I really want to do this? It's really a funny scenario, and the witch actually passes as Templar as well. So, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting scenario.
Nice.
Nice.
Right. So, Stefan, go ahead.
Yes.
Next one.
You haven't spoken for a while, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. Next question. Well, I've always had a bit of questions about the witchcraft thing myself. So, how did you come up with the details for witchcraft and all the casting requirements and details with witchcraft?
That's an interesting question. I'd say that even though I really love the Genesys magic system, there's something that, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I know it's working great, but it's not what I was looking for. Mm-hmm. I understand that the magic system is meant to, like, you choose a spell on the intent rather than on the flavor of the spell. Like, right. For example, you're creating a magic rock, like just a big old chunk of rock. If you're using that rock to throw at someone, to deal damage, to wound them, it's an attack spell. But if you're doing the same thing to, like, you're summoning the same rock to block a passageway or something, so you're just, like, summoning an object, it's going to be conjure. At some point, it's fine, but what happens if your magic skill cover attack, but doesn't cover conjure? So, like, you can create a rock at one condition. You have to throw it at someone to deal damage to them. So, I don't know. I know the system is working. Like, Realms of Terra does it, and it's great. But it was not what I was looking for. So, if you're looking at the witchcraft spells, the spells are mostly based on the flavor rather than the intention behind it. Like, if you're casting a plague spell, it's always going to be a plague. If you're casting Bewitchment, you're always kind of controlling the mind or the perception of your target. So I came up with a new spell list, but since I wanted something more low fantasy, I did not want to have something as flashy as traditional magic. Like, I did not want fireballs in my games.
Right.
I wanted something that was more elusive, mysterious, and I wanted it because spellcasters in Genesys are really great blasters. Like, for the attack spell, they're actually doing it pretty great. It's on par with strong frontline warriors and all that. But I wanted something more intrigue based. So if you're looking at the witch, you cannot just run into battle and start casting spells and dealing damage and killing people. Like, their magic doesn't work like that. You don't have any attack spell. Like, really offensive spell, powerful offensive spell, you don't have.
You have, of course, plague is like can inflict strain and all, so you can actually, you can use that to win combat encounters, but it's not like casting a lightning bolt, right? So
I got a feeling where you wanted something more, almost like the traditional European superstition about witchcraft.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You need the components, whether you're a white witch or a nasty witch. The cauldrons and the components, the totems, fetishes, little things like that, potions. So you need something to cast it. It's not just say some words and some gestures like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and it was on par with the Inquisition anyway. I could have done like I'm just going to use the Genesis magic system as it is and have witches act as wizards, or I probably have gone with the primal skill, but I wanted something more underground. So so I came up with this. The requirement for empathic link. So for those who don't have the book, you basically have you need to have some empathic link with your target to cast a spell on them. So it may be a droplet of blood, it may be a personal belongings like a bootlace or a piece of cloth or their personal knife or whatever, in order to target them, or else your magic won't work.
Right. Yeah.
So that special requirement, that special limitation, makes witches more. The spell are more likely to be used in narrative situation rather than combat situation. Even if each spell has actually a structured encounter version,
you have to think about it more.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to. If you're a witch, you don't want to get into a fight prior to acquiring these. So, like, if you know that you're gonna have to confront the bandit lord or whatever, you're gonna have to make some kind of investigation prior to like draw swords and go right in. Like, is it possible to get an empathic link on that guy? If not,
during Chris's game when he ran it, I was playing the Templar Witchborn who had magic. I was using all my advantages and stuff to get some components and things for creating links to possible targets. Oh yeah, maybe a link for this guy, maybe a link for that guy, just in case I need to. I'll have something.
I mean, I definitely think, Guillaume, you definitely captured the low magic, and like you said, kind of an underhanded, skullduggery-ish kind of sneaky magic that witches are and warlocks are kind of known for, I guess. Or I got that feel from it. So well done on that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I could see that the witchcraft as a skill and usable mainly more for even though it's structured encounters, and you say mainly for narrative, but it's good for those structured social encounters or structured investigative encounters.
Oh yeah. I think I had that as one of the. I think I had that as one of the skills that during your investigation, scrying or bewitchment, you can bewitch somebody in the bar to get information from them. Or
I think I tried at least one or the other.
Yeah,
I had that quest, which was basically a kind of the clue game.
Okay.
The party were invited to a banquet, and it was basically they were, because that party was entertainers. It's a band of entertainers. They were running a circus and whatever. But thing is that they were invited to that manor there, and it was like the count's mayor. They invited guests from another county, trying to arrange a wedding between his son and the other noble's daughter. So people was moving around the house and all that, and at some point, the future husband is murdered. And the only people that hasn't left the main room were the entertainers, were the player party. So everybody else could be the killer. And the house was closed, so like there was no one from the outside. So they had to investigate each of the people that was there. So like the servants, like the count's brother that was there, and the wife and all that. And basically, in that quest, I did not give stats to everyone, but I did the motivation thing, like strength, weakness, fear, and flaw for every of the guests there.
Oh, there you go.
So they had to investigate every of these people, and the scrying spell was used so much, the witch basically drain out their strain just to cast scry to like what happened at that exact time in that room, and like because they did not even know where the body was, because the body was apparently dragged, so they did not even know where the murder took place. They had just bits of information. And just to screw things up, I made sure that basically, not everybody, but mostly everybody, like let's say at least half of the guests there, had an interest of that wedding not taking place.
So everybody had motivation.
So like
or
there was at least maybe like five or six like potential suspects.
That makes for a great murder mystery. Well done. Well done. So the last question we have here now, talking about magic, I should say, is there going to be a new revised edition of Inquisition now that the expanded player's guide is out and we got other magic talents, those kinds of things? Does that influence where the setting's going any or?
Yeah, well, the setting keeps moving. I'm actually already working on the revision. I've got about I don't know, maybe a dozen pages written of completely new stuff.
Cool.
For the expanded player's guide, I'm mostly going to use the power level. So I want to go through all the adversaries again, put their power level values, because that's something I really like about the expanded player's guide.
Yeah.
For the magic talents, well, I did go through them, and I don't think I'm going to borrow that much from that, because most of them are either too high fantasy for my tastes, like the teleport talent is just like not for Inquisition. And some of these, well, it's too high fantasy for the witches. And some talents are just like for example, Elementalist. It's not something witches actually do, so it's not fitting either. I had some few talents that maybe I could like take this and just reward it to add just few stuff and it's gonna work. But overall, I don't want the Inquisition setting to be dependent on too much source books. There's already like, while it's not required, I said in my introduction, but I highly recommend getting the Realms of Terranot, because lots of talents from that book are fitting the medieval theme. So you basically want that. You can play without, but you want that. But I did not want to evolve, because even Shadow of the Beanstalk have awesome talents that could have worked as well. But I did not want to have, you're buying Inquisition, but if you want to play, buy also Realms of Terranot, Shadow of the Beanstalk, Expanded Player's Guide, and later on Secrets of the Crucible, right? I didn't want that. Because you're already buying my thing, so you want to feel like you can actually play the thing you're buying, right?
Well, that's right. I know you sort of reskin the Justice of the Citadel.
Yeah,
and put it into Inquisition, which was good. It does give a bonus, and it's flavored to heretics and witches and monsters.
Yeah, I think sticking with Realms of Terranot as a suggested supplement is great, because it's a fantasy book with all medieval stuff. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna dig too deep inside the Expanded Player's Guide. I think I can make up new talents and new stuff without borrowing from that. But I'm definitely gonna add the power levels, because it's just I love
those
them.
are good. Those are good.
But yeah, I got lots of new material coming up.
Awesome.
I don't know if you want spoilers.
Go right ahead.
If you want to give them, that'd be great.
Yeah, you told me a few of them. Why not share?
Sure.
Yeah,
we weren't privy to this because we don't speak French. All right.
C'est pas de ma faute. Tu parles pas français, tabarnak.
There it is.
And there it is. So basically, and that's a tip I'm going to give to those of you who are actually building universe and your own setting. Like, when you've been, like, in my case, I've been jamming for a while now, but like my ideas are not, I won't say recycled, but like I have my own style, and each people have their own style. So if you can borrow from their opinions and ideas to make your world better, it's a great thing. So in this case, I have a game running with people on the Discord server. Sorry about this. So I have a gameplay by post running on Discord server with some people you probably know. I have Christopher from Advantageous Podcast playing on that game.
Okay.
You have a few of the moderators of the Genesys community group, including Anastasia Steele, who is kind of not popular right now because her setting is still in the making, but when she's going to release our Sunfall setting, it's going to be a big hit. Like, I had the chance to look at it, and it's just super great, but that's another topic. So yeah, so basically, I'm playing that game with them, and they decided to, when we first started out, I asked them, where do you want the game to take place? Because we decided it's going to be some kind of sandbox thing. I did not have a pre-made scenario, and it's even made easier when you're when you're playing by post, because like you don't have to react super quickly to what's going on. You can take a day or a few hours to think, okay, the players are doing this, so I'm going to adjust my scenario to go in that direction. Okay. So, and they decided to play inside the Republic of Venice, which is the place where it was some kind of witch empire before the church launched a crusade against them, invaded them and all that. Yep. And thing is that in the current version of the product, the lore about like this culture, this place, is not that deep. Like, you have information there, yes, but it's not that deep. So I wanted to add meat to that bone. And in that game, I basically told my player, if you want to add narrative elements to that place, go for it. I'm open for that. And if the ideas are good, they're going to make it to the next edition of Inquisition.
Very nice.
So what's interesting here is that I have ideas coming from other people, which have a different style of playing and different backgrounds of tabletop RPGs, bringing up their own ideas, and I just incorporate them in the setting.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's funny about this particular thing is that I wrote more about Venice than I think all the other kingdoms together at that point. So I'm really going to have to go over each of the kingdoms to add more stuff. Cool. And they also...
Well, you've already got 45 pages of your 118 page document. Yeah. That's all just lore and culture,
fantastic.
And it is very rich, it's dripping with ideas, and I love that about your setting. That's great.
Oh yeah.
So it just, if you're going to be adding more to it, that's awesome.
That is great. Yep.
And you said something about maybe I'm revealing too much here, and if I am, this is where you're going to delete this, Chris. But you said something to us. You said something to us about you're also going to produce a new map or atlas for it.
Yes. Because the map I'm using right now, it was made with Incarnate, which is it's a cool program, but I chose that basically because of the deadline, because I wanted to have a map when the product came out, and
gotcha.
It was the right tool for the job at that moment. But I want to remake the map with Photoshop. I got some. I'm not an expert, but I got some Photoshop skills. So I want to check tutorials on how to make a great looking map and redoing the whole map, basically. So I'm not going to expand much. Maybe I'm just going to add something about the site islands. I want to develop more the pirate thing about that place, but overall it's going to be the same map. It's still going to be Iguras. You won't see any new continents or whatever, but the maps will look more great than what it is right now, because Incarnate is an okay program, I guess. Like, it's good at what it's doing. Like, if you need a map in a matter of minutes, well, you can spend hours on it as well, but you can do a great map even if you're not a skilled artist or map maker, because it's basically stems, right? So I'm just going to take that city icon and just going to put it there, and like the texture of the ground is easy to do and all that. So, but it has its limitations. So I wanted something more deep, but there was that deadline. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get Incarnate, make a map within a matter of hours, and put that in a book. And when I'm going to have time, I'm going to rework the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because the map itself looks like it could be like a European map done like almost like explorers on a ship. They traced out the new world as well. Okay, this is how the east coast of the States we think looks like. But yeah, I know you showed me a sample of what you wanted the map to look like eventually. Like, oh yeah, that's definitely one of those high-end programs that, it's almost a satellite picture.
I actually contacted the maker of that map and asked for a commission. I might take that route because he told me that because he's used to make that kind of map. But the map I asked him about took him about like a month of work to do, and he's used to that map making style. So like, do I really want to invest that time?
Do I want to spend a year making this map?
Yeah, exactly. So like, and it's not that expensive. In this case, it was for the map I was showing him. He told me it will be something about like 150 euros, which is I think it's a fair price for the quality of work he offers. Thing is that if I ever want to expand on the lore or something, and I think, it will be good if I had like another island right there or something. Like I won't be able to do it myself.
No.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a balance there. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know. I'm not settled on what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna learn how to make? I won't achieve that kind of quality, sadly. But am I going to learn to make potent, like great looking map, or I'm just gonna go with his offer? Not sure yet. I'm not decided.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. Well, before we go on, is there anything else you'd like to say about Inquisition and even the adventure that you wrote for it that's also up on Drive-Thru? That if someone hasn't purchased the product yet and was sitting on the fence, what would be your selling point? What would you try to get them to? Because we forgot, but we usually do that at the top.
That's true.
But,
that's true. The elevator speech. Yeah,
The elevator pitch.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I think Inquisition is a great setting for someone who's like into medieval universe, but not into like the stereotypes of what you see in like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinders, and all that. Like you won't see any elves, dwarves, dragons, but it's still a rich world. More likely, more close to the Witcher game, for example. So and it's grim, and you're not gonna play heroes in there. Like the world is grim, the people are poor, struggling to live their lives and earn their share of money, and like you're basically, this is the perfect setting to play some nobody trying to become something. Like you're gonna have the lords oppressing you, and you may be like just the local blacksmith and make a potent character become strong. You're gonna have to face like the bandits threatening your little community and all that, without going like to epic proportions. The last game I played, the last Pathfinder game I played was Wrath of the Righteous. I don't know if you know that one, but basically you're being thrown in the role of, we're gonna save the world, and at some point, spoilers, you're basically meeting a deity, like in the game, and the deity is basically asking for your help. So it's like you're on another level, right? So basically, what Inquisition offers is a different setting. It's a medieval, but not too high fantasy. You have a new magic system that can work, because you can totally buy Inquisition and just salvage bits for your own setting. I think witchcraft is a unique skill in itself, with new spells, new magic implements, new mechanics for the empathic link. So it's just like something new. It's just not a revamp. Well, it's kind of a revamp thing, but it's not just like you took everything that was in the core book or Realms of Theronat and just adding a story to it. Like I did make changes in the mechanics to make it work. And some people are just attracted to not playing the good guys. And this setting is perfect because you can totally, like, if you look at the character choices, you have a witch, for example. You have a fence, which is basically a black marketeer. you have scoundrel, and like you have a bunch of characters. You can be a corrupt priest, or like for the herbalist, you have a bunch of stuff you can do as well with alchemy. Because I added potions, I added like the Monster Hunter thing is cool as well, because kind of like The Witcher, yeah, you're saving people from monsters, but like you're a mercenary at the core. So like, okay, yeah, you have that, I don't know, giant spidery thing killing your livestock and all, but like, are you gonna pay me for this? like your list, Eric. One of the main motivation I had, I forgot to tell this, and I think it's kind of interesting. When I first got into Genesys, there was Realm of Terranut that was already kind of like in the presented settings. So, and we had like, at that point, we have just a feeling that probably they're going to release source books for every setting in the core book, right? So I might just go with the Realms of Terranut. I played the Descent board game, which is taking place in the same universe. Okay. So it was like a fantasy thing, and also, okay, I might try that. And the core book did not add what I call the magic item porn. So like, it's not, it's high fantasy, but maybe more manageable that Pathfinder was. So I might just go with Realms of Terranut. And when I purchased the book and read it, I was really, kind of disappointed by the lore, I might say, because it was not what I was looking for. Basically, the premise of Terranut is that you're an heroic person doing heroic actions to perform heroic quests and become the hero. Yeah, basically, it's that. And at some point, it's great.
Hero, yeah.
Yeah. Some people are totally into this, and that's totally fine. But it's not what I was looking for. So Inquisition offers something different. You're not the heroes. You're just like the people struggling for their life. Even if you're playing like the Templar or the priest or whatever, chances are you won't be the hero of the day. You're gonna face situation, making hard choices, and it's a different experience.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Well, cool.
Very cool.
All right. Well, that was a lot of information. Appreciate you answering all of our questions. So let's play a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to Advantageous Threats. This is where we build, roll, adjudicate, and some sample skill checks for your entertainment. Normally, however, this show we're going to do a quick round 3 in encounter designed by one of us utilizing the rules and world of the Inquisition. Chris will be GMing. Myself, Stefan, and Guillaume are going to be the players. Chris, what kind of scenario you got for us, bud?
I got a pretty simple one. I didn't give you guys much of a setup, did I? But it doesn't really matter. I don't need it. Don't need it because you guys are awesome players. Guillaume, you're probably a shitty player because you're GM all the time, but that's okay. GMs make the worst players. I swear to God, I know that I'm the worst player, man. But I don't care.
Only when you argue with me all the damn time.
That's because when you get shit wrong, Tony. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm the GM. I'm always right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, so
stop ruining my story.
How many of these have I run? I don't know if I've run any of these since.
Nope.
Yeah, I think you do the show notes and you create the scenario. We're like, all right, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna set the stage with you all have been traveling all day in search of a monstrosity in the northeastern forest of Astala. And your journey has ended at a craggy maw of a dark cave. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, who do we have here? And you know what? We will start with our guest. Guillaume, who are you playing today?
All right, so in this segment, I'm playing Emilia Woodcroft, which is a knight. Basically, our story is that she's the illegitimate daughter of the Duke of Tevan, so which is a nearby kingdom.
Cool.
So she was raised at the court, and her mother died when she was young. And the Duke still took care of her. He loved her. And problem is that the Duke already had a daughter named Rosa, which was the inheritor of the throne, and the girls were basically rivals because Emilia was just like the bitter kid between the two, but the title was going to go through Rosa. So at some point, the Duke died, Rosa took over, and her mother convinced to exile Emilia just to get her out of the court. So Emilia,
mother.
Yeah, exactly. Emilia's stepmother. So Emilia found herself being thrown at the front line, at the frontier between Tevan and Astala. And so she was basically forced into servicing the army. And she got great. She made friends, and she deceived the people there, saying that she was actually the legitimate daughter of the Duke, sent on a mission to survey the troops and all that. So she kind of made friends along the way, and at some point her secret was exposed by her commanding officer, but since they were friends at that point, he just let it go. And but nice. After all these years serving in the army, Emilia felt that she needed something else. She wanted to go back to the court, and it's going to be payback day for Rosa for exiling her, basically. So she's on a quest to just gain contacts and all that, gain prestige, money, and prepare her master plan for the day she's going to take on Rosa.
Nice. Oh, well, more to come later, probably.
Yes.
Oh, nice. All right. Who wants to go next? Stefan.
All right.
What?
I am playing Sir Maxwell Kincaid. He's a devoted Templar. He was originally from Roven, south of the continent, but being the youngest of a very large family, he was sent to Prophet's Landing because his family couldn't afford to take care of him. He would not inherit anything anyway.
Nice.
So he embraced the church's teachings and became a devoted defender of the faith, and then went on to train as a Templar, where he now roams the land.
Excellent. And met up with Emilia at some point along the way.
Yes.
Nice. All right, Tony. Who do we have?
I'm playing Big Amos. Big Amos is his laborer. He's basically a farmhand. He was born and raised in the village of Hogwalla on eastern Astala. In eastern Astala. Hogwalla.
It's French. Hogwalla.
But he beat a nobleman into a coma after he caught the man trying to have his way with a neighbor girl. Subsequently, while the local inquisitor acquitted Big Amos of any wrongdoing, the noble's family purchased my big farm that I worked on, and they fired me. So now I've been homeless and jobless for a while. When I met, and I took to the road with all my earthly possessions. That includes my wagon and my ox, Maggie. And
you have a wagon and ox with you. That's great.
And a wagon named Maggie?
No. The ox is named Maggie. Oh. And I got my trusty pitchfork, and I can help. I met Sir Maxwell and Amelia here, and they offered to feed me, and so I'm tagging along.
Mm-hmm. All right, and he's small. He's a small boy, right?
He's 6'7", 270 pounds. They call him Big Amos.
And that's just not they could call him tiny, right? All right, well, cool. Okay, so you three have found yourselves outside this dark cave. Who wants to do what? What you guys going to do?
Well, I tell Maggie to stay here, and I'll tie her to a tree.
All right. I won't let you roll for that. You don't have to roll for that. You do it.
Well, since Emilia is kind of the tank type, so I guess she's just going to offer to light on the torch, raise her shield, and go right in.
Cool. What do the rest of you guys do?
Why? Are you going to let the lady go first?
She's a knight. Enable Knight. She's a soldier.
Oh, it's so confusing. I'm sorry, madam. Where I come from, we treat all women with respect. I'm a country boy, you know. If you wants to go first, go ahead. But if something comes our way, I'm a big meaty shield. I got this pitchfork.
You can hold the torch if you want.
All right, thank you. I'll take the torch. Go right over her shoulder.
Big Amos, a.k.a. Torchbearer.
Don't burn my hair.
All right.
Oh, no, madam. I'll hold it nice and high.
All right, Sir Kincaid.
Yes, well, Sir Kincaid, while they were arguing about who should go in first, the lady or the man, he draws his sword and readies his shield and steps next to Amos, ready to lend aid.
All right, sounds good. So Amelia leading the way in. All right, so...
And before we go in, actually, if we know we are taking on some monstrosity,
yes,
it may be a good idea to pour some silver, liquid silver stuff on our blades.
Sounds good.
Well, I've got my trusty spear.
So I'm just gonna do that before going in.
So you prepare the silvered weapons. Go ahead, Tony. Big Amos.
On my pitchfork? And I kind of hold it. Like, looking at you kind of... You want to put silver on a pitchfork? That's going to harm the wheat when I use it on weight.
It'll make it more valuable.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So do you guys have extra silver to silver up the pitchfork, maybe, or?
I don't, but he can borrow my spear if you want. I can just.
No, I got my trusty pitchfork. I got my daddy's boot knife, but I've never used it in a fight.
Awesome. All right. So you guys are heading in under the torchlight. Let's see. You're going into this cave. The torch being held by Big Amos there when it was about kind of dusk. So it was getting dark outside. You're going into this dark cave. Slight breeze coming in behind you. A bit musty smell in here. Some definitely stale air, and maybe a hint of like just putrid, like waste, right? Just like
does it smell like hog slop?
It actually very close. It's definitely close to something like hog slop, and maybe not quite as, maybe even worse than like, cow shit. And who do you have? Oh, sorry, your ox's name is
Maggie.
Maggie, yeah, a bit riper than what Maggie drops, as well. And as you're going in, everybody make a perception check for me.
All right.
We'll do a difficulty like an average difficulty here, and this will tell me kind of what you might or might not hear.
Any setbacks due to darkness?
No, this is purely hearing.
Oh, okay.
So in my case, I rolled a single advantage. No successes.
One advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
I got 3 successes and 3 threat.
Okay.
And I had 1 single success.
1 single success. The 2 that succeeded hear a faint, like a in the distance. Okay. And I don't know, for some reason, Amelia, maybe you were in the middle of saying something, but you actually pick up from with your advantage there, the torchlight kind of you're kind of turn your head a little bit, and as you're turning back, your head's down. It kind of puts a slight shadow and a light on the ground, and you see what looks like human-sized tracks. Like somebody walking.
I mean feet.
Feet, right. Stefan, Sir Kincaid,
yes,
hears it even worse. You have it, maybe it's the armor that you're wearing, or the shield, or the acoustics of where you are, specifically in this cave, but it hits a You're a Templar, right? Yeah, I mean, you're a Templar. You've seen some pretty crazy shit, and you don't know where you place this at, but you're going to take 3 strain from this.
Ouch.
Because it definitely puts the hairs on the back of your neck kind of start standing up, and I got to get dice out. Okay, so
all right. If I have time, I'll use my power potion, which will increase my brawn by 1.
Sure. You take a quick drink.
Yeah.
You guys see Kincaid just stop for a moment, pulls out like a flask. Maybe he's maybe he's on the drinky drink. You haven't known him for too long, but he definitely quaffs something down.
Yeah.
In front of
Suddenly, he seems to grow a little bigger. Not as big as Big Amos, but...
No, not as big as Big Amos. So you all continue on, and...
Wait.
Yeah?
I spit in my hands to get a better grip on my pitchfork.
All right.
Perfect. First attack, I'll give you a boost die. After that... No, actually, first attack, setback die. After that, you get a boost die, because now it's like dried up right now. Just kidding. Okay, so you guys are coming up, and as you come around this corner, you're definitely hearing a bit more of that screeching and whatever. You're coming around, and that torchlight hits this creature, this tentacled creature.
Uh-oh.
Just flailing about, and turns to you all. And in the torchlight, you see this tentacles coming out where the head is, split off, a couple tentacles coming out, just as if it's licking the air. The ends of the tentacles are just kind of licking the air, and then they kind of zoom in, they're going flailing about, and then all of a sudden they like zoom in on kind of where you are. In the middle of this person's chest is a screaming face, as if, and then it just from that mouth, just it screams out. So I'm gonna need fear checks real quick, and then we'll roll initiative.
I designed that creature, and I don't like where this is going.
What? You mean I got the flare?
Yeah, that sounds like the flare.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Difficult
so fear
to
check
get, sir?
This is going to be a terrifying check of hard, and I am going to apply its adversary to this.
Great.
So upgrade that once, everybody.
Ugh.
I'm going to go to the core rules.
Okay.
Fear rules on page 243 in the core book here to see what everybody gets. And we will go around the table here. We'll start with our guest. Guillaume, welcome to the show. What'd you get on your fear check?
A single success.
Single success. Okay, so you steady yourself. You've been told about these. You just, what the hells? And then Sir Maxwell.
I get a failure and an advantage.
Failure and an advantage. Well, with the failure...
Yeah, he knows too much about this thing.
So with the failure, you're going to get a setback die on your first round of combat here. Okay. And then Tony, what'd you get?
With my advantage, maybe add a boost die to the next person who's going to ask.
With the advantage, I'm going to allow it to be the first round of combat there, Stefan.
All right, there.
How about that? All right, Big Amos, how'd he do?
Big Amos had 2 successes, 1 advantage.
Woo! So
basically, the farmer is the most brave, right?
Actually, and I think he's 2 successes and an advantage.
Yes.
Okay. I think since Sir Maxwell was right next to you, you see him take a quick step back, and you steady him a bit. You're going to get a boost die on your first check there, Big Amos, and his advantage there and your advantage there, Stefan. That cancels out your disadvantage.
My setback.
Your setback. Yep, your setback on the first round. All right, so Let's roll some initiative here. Vigilance, please. I think we'll all roll vigilance here.
All right.
I got. All right. I will tell you what I get, and you tell me whether you beat it or not.
Oh, wow.
I got 3 successes.
I got 2 successes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Who's going first?
All right. Anybody beat 3 successes. This is going to be easy if you didn't.
I got 4 successes, 2 advantages.
Woo! Very nice. Very nice.
I got 2 yellows and a green on this. So
2 yellows and a green. Nice.
Yeah.
And then the other 2, you got what?
I got 2 successes and 2 advantage.
Okay.
1 and 1.
1 and 1. Alrighty. So those of you with the 2 advantage, if you'd like, you could do you could add something to the scene with that if you want, as we're setting this up.
Well, what's the distance between us and the creature?
I'm gonna say you come around. I'm gonna say it's probably around medium range right now. Or no, actually it's short range. You're in a cave, so it's short range.
Okay. Maybe for some advantage. There's roots coming from the ceiling that could entangle possibly it as it tries to move.
Okay, yeah. So it's got like these tentacles just flailing about, and it is okay. I can see that. So it'll get like maybe a setback die on its first attack here. Okay,
there we go.
And how about you? How about you, Amelia or Guillaume? What do you think? You want to add something here?
Maybe Emilia could be quick on moving forward, since she's used to be on the front line. So maybe she could start directly engage with the creature.
Okay, I'll allow it. That works. And then Tony, for your advantage, what you want to do for one advantage here?
There's when Amos drops the torch, it still continues to light the room. It doesn't go out.
Nice. Okay, so there's probably some pretty decent light. Not darkness. You guys won't be fighting in darkness, but still by the torchlight. Okay, I like it. All right, so I have a PC going first, and I'm assuming Amelia might be taking that.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So I'm gonna attack that thing with my sword, and I'm gonna double aim because I just love aiming. So I'm gonna spend 2 strain to aim a second time.
Okay.
Just gonna look at my dice here. So.
Okay, so we have
2 yellow, a green. I'm gonna add 2 boosts for aiming and suffer 2 strain.
Okay. 2 purple for the difficulty. Upgraded once because of adversary. Oh, I gotta keep track of story points, don't I? Darn it.
A little bit.
And that thing has defense as well.
It does. He knows his monsters. Defense of 2.
Let's try this. So 2 yellow, 1 green, 2 blue, 1 red, 1 purple, and 2 black. Let's see.
All right.
Damn it. So so it's a fail check. 0 successes. No fail symbol, but it's 0 success. But I got 4 advantages.
Ooh. So, what would you like to do with those advantages?
Maybe I can put it in a position where, like, it's gonna. Just let me check what I can do with this. But maybe I can drop it. Its defense, like 4 advantages, is kind of a lot, actually.
Yeah, you know what? I think on that side of you can, I will say that the next person to attack, you'll take up the melee defense will be gone because it's kind of like, there's like these 6 bigger tentacles going around, and a couple of them on that side, you're just, it's hitting on you, focusing on you. So,
all right.
So, let's see here. So with these tentacles, everybody's at short range. We have a tentacle. Now, I did not see whether you can attack with all the tentacles, but it looks like I just get 1 tentacle attack here. So, I guess with extras...
Yeah, it's basically a mix-up of all tentacles attacking the same target.
Oh,
what you have
What you have, though, is that whenever we're attacking that thing, if we're rolling threats, we can get slashed by tentacle.
I see. Gotcha. Nice. Okay, so we're going to attack you with the 3 or 4 yellow here. Do you have any defense?
I have 3 melee defense.
3 melee defense. Whoa. Alrighty.
Yeah, I got my chainmail and my large shield.
All right.
Plus my sword.
I'll spend my story point. So let me see. So that's 4 to you guys. Okay. And I'll add a green to this. And it will, it's sniffing the air. And it's kind of not sees, but hears and senses you kind of coming in. So it's going to aim once as well. Would you like to do anything to the pool?
How many story points we have now?
4 to you guys, 0 to me.
Okay, well, let's spend the 1 on upgrading the check.
Alrighty. Sounds good. Alright, here we go.
Roll despair.
No despair, but I am triumphant.
Oh, no.
So those are going to cancel. Oh, shit. This isn't good. Welcome to the show, Guillaume. But, I am left with one success, 2 advantage, but a triumph. Okay, so this thing does damage. So you're going to take 7 damage. No pierce or anything. However, I did inflict a wound, so why don't you make a hard resilience check for me here, buddy?
Well, in fact, what I'm going to do, because I have 5 soak, I'm going to use, I have the parry talent.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm gonna suffer force strain to reduce the incoming damage by 3. I have 1 rank. Yeah, I have 1 rank. So
do you still take any damage or no?
Nope.
You don't take any damage.
I take no, because I have 5 soak and reduce by 3. So no, no damage for me.
Okay, sounds good. So you're not gonna make this resilience check. So because I didn't wound you. However, I am going to spend this triumph to knock you on your ass.
Damn.
So you're knocked down, and my 2 advantage will be to the tentacles are kind of just flailing kind of right down in front of you and kind of keeping you down on the ground a little bit. So you're gonna why don't you suffer a strain for that?
All right.
Okay, I have 2 PC slots. Who wants to go next?
Go for it, Amos.
Charge.
Alrighty.
Got the pitchfork in both hands.
Moving up to it.
It's inaccurate, so I've already added a setback die there. But you said it has defense of 1 or 2?
It does not right now because it is. I'm going to say that these tentacles are just kind of, it did have 2 defense, but Guillaume spent the advantage to remove that. And those tentacles are what knocked Amelia down. And so its defense is down right now. Okay. But it is adversary 1.
Yep. Okay. Adversary 1. This is I'll maneuver into position.
Yep.
And then I'll spend the 2 strain for an aim.
Alrighty.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to spend a story point also because he just hit Amelia.
Yeah, knocked her down.
Yeah, and I'm not keen on that.
So Amelia, Amelia, you're wielding. Do you have like a shield, like a sword and shield?
Yeah, sword and a large shield. So I'm basically hiding behind my shield right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Keeping it down. All right.
Don't hit a woman, and I charge.
Don't hit a woman? Is that what you said?
Yeah, don't hit a woman.
That's great.
So my pitchfork hits for 3 successes. That's going to be 11 damage.
Oh, snap buckets. Let's see.
Show that monster how to treat woman.
There you go. All right, it soaks. You have pierce. You don't have pierce on that, do you?
No.
Okay.
However, I do have 4 advantages and a triumph. And this thing crits on 4 advantage.
Awesome.
So I'm going to spend my 4 advantage to crit, and my triumph is going to increase that, plus vicious, for a total of plus 20%.
Plus 20. Okay, well, go ahead and roll the percentile there, then. See what kind of crit you put on this thing.
70, so it'll be a 90, which is...
90 is a what?
90 is compromised. Increase difficulty of all skill checks by 1 until this crit is healed.
Oh.
You're going to increase your difficulty.
Increase difficulty. All right.
Last thing before I go.
Yep.
I have an incidental I'd like to activate.
Mm-hmm.
When your character inflicts a critical injury with a melee weapon until the end of the target's next turn.
Yeah.
You may use this talent to immobilize the target. I'm doing an impaling strike, so I just run it through with my pitchfork.
Nice. Yeah, so you just run it through. You pin like 2 of the tentacles like to the ground, right? And it's trying to pull back, and you're just, you got all that farmer weight on it. And
using pitchfork as a spaghetti fork.
Pretty much. All right, Sir Kincaid. Sir Maxwell.
Okay,
Sir Kincaid.
He moves in and into melee range, into engage range.
Okay.
And I will use his Justice of the Creator as well.
Ooh.
So I'm suffering 3 strain, but I'll add 2 more points of damage because that's equal to my discipline. As he aims, no, he's not going to aim. It's already, I believe, a maneuver to move and a maneuver to activate the Justice. So just a swing from the sword.
Okay.
Right, and now you said 2 difficulty.
Adversary 1. Yep, and then 2 melee defense.
2 melee defense. All right. So no aiming because you've done all these maneuvers. All right. Swing. Bada bada. Woo. So 3 successes, a threat, and a triumph.
1 threat?
1 threat, though.
Oh, okay.
So
only one.
You know what I'm talking about there, bud. Right?
Oh yeah.
He knows this monster. He knows what I want.
Yeah.
What I want. 2 threat, people. Looking for
only
2
1
threat.
So,
okay, go ahead.
So that was a total of, for the 3 successes, 10 damage.
Okay. Now, 10 damage. Now, first off, I need to ask. I have to go back. Silvered? Didn't silver the pitchfork, but you silvered your weapon, correct?
Did we?
Well, I know that Amelia silvered hers, but she missed.
No.
Okay, you didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, I have a silver light spear, but that's still on my back.
Perfect. Okay, so you 10 damage, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
10 damage and a triumph.
Ooh.
So,
What would you like to do with that triumph?
Well, can I inflict a crit?
Absolutely, you always could.
All right, then I will crit. Where's my... There you go, percentage.
You're rolling it. Okay.
Yep, 35.
What's that,
Plus
Tony?
10. Already got plus 10. It's already got
plus 10.
It's 45 then.
45. What's the 45 there, Tony?
45 is going to be bowled over. The target is knocked prone and suffers 1 strain.
There we go.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's a powerful hit with the sword pushing back with the shield as a follow-up.
All right. So it's bowled over. So that's enough for it to just it falls back, and we're back up to the next top of the round there. And Amelia, you're not like held down on the ground, flailing hiding underneath your shield right now. So
yeah, it's payback time now.
I'd like to act first just to try and help protect Amelia. So
Okay.
Maxwell yells at the creature, "How dare the attack a woman? Have at me instead!" Using my challenge talent, so that
nice.
I'm daring it to attack me. So it will
Okay.
get a boost die against me, but 2 setbacks attacking anyone else.
Ooh, very nice. So you're calling it out. You're standing over it, getting ready to just...
Oh yeah, and that's for
All
the
right.
encounter.
Sounds good, man. All right, so that is a challenge, and then you're gonna... That's like like a maneuver, or is that an action?
That's just a maneuver.
Okay. And then
So
you
might
want
as
to
well-
attack it then, probably.
Well, may as well swing at it again.
All right.
And it's prone, so you get a bonus, a boost dice, I think.
A boost die? Yep, a boost die for it being prone.
There we go. Still melee defense. So
two melee defense. Yeah, just picture. I mean, mainly the two melee defenses are for the tentacles are just swapping around, and you're deflecting them with your shield, and the pitchfork is kind of deflecting a little bit too. And
all right, so I managed to hit again, but only one success. So it'll be 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay.
But 5 advantages.
Holy buckets!
So for 2 of those, I'll activate a crit.
Okay. All right. Add 20% to this.
Yep.
Let's see what else you can do to it.
83. That's 103.
Holy wows! All right. What do you got there, Tony?
Maimed. One of the target's limbs. GM may select is permanently lost.
Oh, the GM may select. Well, okay. So this is what happens. So it gets knocked. You knock this thing backwards,
right?
And you just slice, and you have what, a sword?
It's a sword, yeah.
Yeah. So you just take like a backhand and just slice off one of its tentacles as you're moving in closer to it.
All right.
And the mechanical part of this is it's going to then all other actions are going to suffer setback die until the crit's healed.
There we go.
Understood.
Nice. All right. And for 2 advantages, I'll give it a setback, and then the remaining advantage, a boost die to the next player.
2 setback, increased difficulty. All right. So it's going to stand up.
Right.
Then.
It's immobilized.
Yeah.
Until the end of its next turn. All right. Well, it's going to attack it's just going to attack with its tentacles there, because it could reach out, and I'm going to attack the one that called him out. Then.
There you go.
Increase my difficulty, so I have 4 yellow. I'm
going to spend a story point to increase the difficulty.
Okay, upgrade the difficulty.
Upgrade the difficulty as more of those roots are getting in the way of its tentacles.
Nice. And then I'm spending one. I'm spending one as well because I'm prone by a pitchfork. I need some help. All right, so I increased my difficulty. I have already taken the strain. Okay, main setback. All right, 4 yellow.
Oh, and I have 2 melee defense.
Okay, I need to. Dang, Stefan, I need to get
bigger hands.
I need bigger hands, and I need somebody to put the adversaries up on that website you guys are using for your characters. And I need to grab another setback die. Didn't know gonna need 5 of them. All right, here we go. That's quite a pool. All right, here we go. Ooh, lots of failures on those setback dice.
Good.
Yep. Okay. He does fail. Actually, complete wash. Okay, yeah, so it tries to attack, and it's just, you guys are defending, it's slashing on you, you're defending it with your shield, just kind of blocks the tentacles right out of the way. And then, now it's at the end of your turn, or the end of its turn, Amos?
The end of its turn.
End of its turn, yeah, so it just kind of pulls those tentacles loose, and it's just, hopefully, maybe get up next time. So I have 2 PC slots. Yep. Who's going next?
And one of them has a boost die.
Go ahead, Guillaume.
Whoever's
All
next.
right. So I'm going to spend a maneuver to stand up. Okay. So basically, Emilia's going to roll on the side and then stand up and attack the thing. And now it's standing up as well, right?
No, it's still underground. I didn't get a chance.
It's still on the ground because it was immobilized. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, I'm going to use, because I've drained some strain already, so I'm going to use second wind talent. I got 2 ranks in it. So I'm just going to use that as an incidental to heal 2 strain.
Cool.
So use a maneuver to stand up, then I'm going to spend 2 strain to have an additional maneuver to aim and attack. So that's 2 boost dice total.
Awesome.
So,
aiming and it's being prone. Gotcha.
There you go.
So, and it's another boost dice for being prone. So that's 3 boost dice.
Awesome.
Total.
Okay.
That it's 1 red, 1 purple, and 2 setback.
2 setback. Yep.
All right, let's see. 2 successes, 2 advantages. All right.
Oh.
So I'm gonna. What's the damage output on this? So I got 6 damage, it's not even enough to bypass its soak, right?
That's correct.
Oh, wait, but I got 2 successes. I did not hide that.
So you have 8.
I just went with the base damage. So yeah, 8 damage.
Okay, that does get past its soak. So it is going to wound it if you wanted to activate a quality you poured on your sword, right?
Yeah, exactly. Since I used liquid silver on my sword, I'm just going to trigger that.
Okay.
So basically, the silver oil on the sword is basically burning the creature's blood. So it's going to suffer 2 damage at the start of its turn for 2 turns.
2 damage.
Is that it? It's been a while. I look at that.
I think it's 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it was that.
It's been a while I used this.
That's okay. We got a little bit of time. You can look that up. I'll write down 2 damage for 2 turns. All right.
Well, actually, I got it right. At the start of the target's turn, they suffer 2 wounds, and that effect lasts for 2 rounds for a total of 4 wounds suffered.
Cool. Alrighty. Nice. Yeah, so this thing just screeches again. It's just like that silvered blade just cuts through the chest and another tentacle, like butter.
There we go.
All right, Amos.
Butter.
Big Amos. It's buttered. It's buttered and ready to go for you.
Still got my pitchfork in hand. I want to try and pin it back to the ground. It seems to be working. I'll just hold it down. You kill it.
So I like this tactic. This is great. Yeah.
So I have a talent here that I'm going to use as my maneuver to activate. I'm spend 3 strain and activate Easy Prey.
Ooh.
And so if I can immobilize it again, then everybody will get 2 boost dice to attack it.
Ooh. Nice. And another boost die, because if you immobilize it now, it won't be able to get up. Darn it. I hate those big farmers, man, coming into my cave.
So does it have defense now?
It does have defensive 2. Actually, you know what? You guys have sliced a couple of its tentacles. You know what? I'm gonna reduce the defense by 1. So it's got a defensive 1.
Okay. I'll be spending one of those player story points because Big Amos, he really wants this monster.
That's right. And you know what? I'm going to spend 1 too because it likes the smell of farmer at night.
Okay.
You smell.
All right.
It can only tell where people are by their smell, and you smell the worst. So sorry, you smell the best. Okay, so it'll be
depending on the person.
1 upgrade for adversary. You got that right? Or
yeah.
A second one.
I rolled 3 yellow, 2 green, 2 boost dice, 2 challenge dice, and 2 setback dice.
Yep. And
it ended up being 2 successes, 4 advantage, and another triumph.
What the hell? Oh, that's great. All right.
So I'm going to crit it. Incidental to immobilize it.
Nice.
And the crit will be increased with triumph.
Okay. And then how much damage?
Oh, damage is 10.
Damage is 10. Okay, need to add that. Tick that up. Woo-hoo.
So it's got 3 crits?
It has 3 crits, going to be
so far.
4.
This is vicious, so I'm adding plus 60% to this roll.
Oh.
Hey, okay then. And you wounded it, so all right. Let's do
94. So
what is that?
That would be 154.
Oh, is that auto death?
That's over the chart.
That's dead. Okay, talk to me. Narrate it. What does this look like? How do you kill it? What does it look like?
Just sheer strength. He just leans in with his pitchfork and leaning in, and sees it just impaling it on the floor. And
nice.
It just pops. It explodes all over everywhere.
So
directly in the face of the screeching human trapped inside the creature, right?
That's right. Yeah, there you go. Because its face was like right in its chest as this Lilith abomination from the Lilith essence had transformed this poor farmer into this flare monstrosity.
Wow. If you wondered how do you make a peasant hero, that's how you make a peasant hero.
There we go.
Just a dude, his ox and his pitchfork obliterating monsters.
Which reminds me, with the archetype that you created for commoners was pretty good. The special ability.
Yep.
it creates a story point just for the players.
That's great.
One-time use, and then it goes away.
And by the way, the constant flailing, why I wanted the 2 threat was it inflicts a wound automatically on whoever rolls 2 threat. Okay. And if a tentacle inflicts a wound, it poisons you. Resilience check, 3 wounds, 3 strain. So, darn it! And it was a hard check, too, but
we really nailed it. No one receives actual wounds from the thing, right?
No.
I suffered strain because of my talents. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I parried his attack. So
you guys hurt yourself. I didn't hurt you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
holy cats! I love this dice roller. I'm not ever not using this thing again.
I wish I had it. I had a dice pool of like 12 dice. That last pool I rolled, almost 12 dice. That's great.
Wow.
All right, well, that's Advantageous Threats. Guillaume, what'd you think of Advantageous Threats? Being part of it?
It was fun. It was fun, and actually playing in my own setting, that was fun. It was brief, but that was super cool.
Is this the first time you played in your setting?
Yes, it's the first time I played in my setting.
Awesome.
Nice. I've just GM'd that thing so far, so
all right.
It was cool.
I hope I'm doing it justice. So this is the second time I've GM'd it. Pretty fun, actually.
So far, so good.
So awesome. All right. Well, hey, let's go home, everybody. Oh, wait a second. We kind of are, aren't we?
Yeah, we're kind of forced to be home.
Supposed to be. All right.
Well, let's wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, so that was our show, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Guillaume, as well, for joining our little band of misfits.
Thank you for having me.
That's right.
And just a little shout out to other podcasts or shows that are on the Nerds International Network with the hyphen. This time I'd like to once again mention our good buddy Matthew Jones with Imaginary Ramblings. He's been prolific these last couple of weeks, making some short episodes of this time was like a 4-parter of quarantined hedgehog zombies.
All right, for the win.
Take a listen. Yeah, take a listen to that. So go ahead, Matt. Come on, make more stuff.
That's right. Our
Chris,
next
any
show.
reminders?
Yeah, our next show is going to be our 5th setting spotlight, where we're going to be looking at the Age of Myth from the Expanded Player's Guide. I'm actually really interested in that. I have some comments on it, and yeah, should be fun.
Nice. Yep, that should be good
fun.
too.
And Guillaume, thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. That was great.
Yep.
Cool. Hope you had a good time. What would you like to plug? What would you like to say out there, everybody, about your setting, about what's coming up, those kinds of things? What you got in the works?
Well, if you want, you can look at the skills guide also on the Foundry, which is my 3rd document there, my 3rd release.
Cool.
And I'm pretty proud of it because since its release back in January 7th, it's still the #1 hottest Genesys Foundry title since then. So I'm pretty proud of this.
Awesome.
It's really great for every setting. It's a generic supplement giving you guidelines on how to use skills. It suggests difficulties, modifiers, how to spend symbols for all the skills and all the ways you can use these skills. So yeah, it's a great supplement. So if you don't have it, check it out.
Sometimes different uses for the skill outside the box.
Yeah.
Very spiffy piece of work, worth every penny.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I snagged that when it first came out myself.
Yeah. All right, Tony, how about some contact info?
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to us and cuss us out for calling you a bunch of losers that didn't write us any in the first place, that would be at findingthenarrativepodcast at gmail.com. Or you can go over to Facebook and yell at me and Stefan at Finding the Narrative on Facebook. If you want to just yell at Stefan in French, English, whichever, Twitter, that would be at FTN_Genesys.
In Espanol, too. I'm trying to practice.
All right, cool.
There you go.
It's trilingual. And then, of course, tell your friends, family, listen to us, Finding the Narrative Podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, and more.
Really? We're on more? Oh yeah, we're on iHeartRadio, but they suck. They don't have all our episodes up there. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing with our feed. You suck.
So everybody else has thanked you for coming on. Guillaume, I'm going to thank you for coming on, and I'm going to ask you, do you have a tagline you want to say here at the end?
On top of my head, I say game on and keep an eye on your strain. Really.
Awesome, okay. I like that.
This is Tony saying spend a story point, and let's tell a great story.
And this is Stefan saying dare to ask for those boost dice.
And this is Chris saying remember the rule of cool. Don't let big-ass farmers into your cave, but just have fun. Thanks again for joining us, Guillaume. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast, is not affiliated with or endorsed by any companies mentioned on this show. Any of the products mentioned on our show or appear on our website are the property and copyright of their respected owners. All items are used under fair use and educational and review purposes. All other items are the intellectual property of Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved.